No, seriously, this is the best winter soup I've ever had. It is just fantastic. It's perfect for a rainy day like today. And really what it is, it's sort of a take on the classic Italian minestrone soup, which is a vegetable soup, but we're adding some really nice meatballs to it near the end. Up the heartiness factor, gonna be really tasty, really filling. Now there are a lot of ingredients to this soup, but please don't let that intimidate you because you can mix them up, you can change them out. This isn't about absolute perfect exact measurements of the vegetables and things that are in there. It's really about getting the things you want in there. And this is really what I like in this meatball minestrone soup. So let's head over to the stove because we got to get everything going. First thing, I want to get a little olive oil into my Dutch oven here. I want my heat on medium. Got a teaspoon of garlic going in. That's minced garlic. Half of a small red onion that's been chopped. Just want to sweat these down for a minute, not really long. We're not trying to caramelize anything here. Next up, 3 cups of cut up red Swiss chard. 2 small yellow squash that have been cut up. 1 zucchini that's been cut up. Half a cup of celery. A 15-ounce can of beans. I'm using Great Northern beans. About a cup of chopped carrots. I use baby carrots and just chop them up. A cup of frozen peas. Give this a nice stir here. Got a cup of parsley that's been chopped up, fresh parsley. Half a cup of fresh basil chopped up. And I've got 2 cans of diced tomatoes. Let's get these mixed in here. And a lot of these vegetables are going to give up a lot of their moisture as they cook here today. Now I've got 32 ounces of vegetable broth I'm adding to this. You can also just use water, but vegetable broth gives this a real nice head start in flavor. I'm gonna add a teaspoon of kosher salt, a teaspoon of dried oregano, half a teaspoon of ground black pepper, and about 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. Finally, 3 small red potatoes that have been chopped up. And always remember, before you use any vegetables, wash them first. Everything here has been washed, dried. Now it's going in for a nice warm bath. Get everybody mixed up nice here. And we're going to bring this up to a simmer, and as soon as it comes to a simmer, I'm going to put the lid on and lower the flame so it's really just barely bubbling, and it's going to go like that for 2 hours. Just starting to get a good bubble going here. I'm going to get my lid on, lower the flame to really low, and we're just going to let this go. And we'll check it in about an hour and a half. And meantime, we'll start getting our meatballs ready. So our meatballs are a very basic sort of mixture, very classic. We're starting with 2 pounds of an 80-20 ground beef here. And because they're in 2 sort of hunks, I want to mix them together first a little here, just to combine them. Next up, 1 egg, 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, 1 teaspoon of granulated garlic, a teaspoon of dried oregano, a teaspoon of dried basil, and I'm going to add to start probably about a 1/4 cup of bread crumbs. Can always add more if we need to. Let's mix. Feels a little wet here. I'm going to add some more of those breadcrumbs. Maybe another 1/4 cup. All right, that feels good. Let's form our meatballs. So I have a baking sheet out here with some parchment paper in here, and what I want to do is I'm just going to take like this little small ice cream scoop, and that's going to be about the size of the meatballs I want. I don't want huge ones that are going into the soup. I want sort of medium small meatballs. So like that much. Just take it, form it into that meatball, maybe like the size of a golf ball. And we just keep making them. And if they don't all fit in our minestrone soup, we've got some snacks on the side. At this point, you should be preheating your oven to 350 degrees. And these are going to go for anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. That's what I find gets these to the doneness that I want. Now, Safe temperature is 165 degrees. If you're a little below that, say 160, it's going to be fine. They're going into the soup for about half an hour after they're baked, so that shouldn't be an issue, but always check the temperature of your cooked meat. Looks like we got 22 meatballs out of those 2 pounds. If you want to, you can do the math to see how many ounces each of these is roughly, but really it's just about this size. This is looking good to me. It's going in the oven, like I said, at 350 for 20 to 30 minutes. I'll check the temp when it's close to that time, see if they're around that 160 to 165. Then we'll set them aside, and then we're going to be checking our soup. So if you want to time this, I would start making these after your soup is about an hour into its cook, because at an hour and a half we want to check and adjust for seasoning, and then at that hour and a half mark, if everything's good, our baked meatballs should be done, and we can add them. Give us about a 2-hour total cook time to that soup, as long as all the vegetables are nice and tender. So let's get this in the oven. All right, we've been going 30 minutes in the 350 degree oven. Our meatballs are looking good. Let's go ahead and check the internal temperature quickly here. Looks like we're at 157. You can see that. That's close enough to 160 for me. These are gonna finish all the way to 165 once they're in the soup. But let's go ahead and check our soup for seasoning. Wow, that looks so good. Just those great, bright, vibrant colors in there. Like I said, this is a perfect winter soup to remind you of like spring and warmer times. Get a little taste here. That's good. A little bit more salt though, maybe, I don't know, 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon. Let's go ahead and add our meatballs. And if there's any of that sort of grease or fat sticking to the meatballs after you bake them, just knock that off before you put them in the soup. I just knock it off right on the tray. All right, let's get our lid on. We're gonna let this go for another half hour, then we'll check it to make sure those vegetables are tender. Pretty sure they will be, and this is gonna be tasty. All right, we've been going a little over 2 hours total now, half an hour with those meatballs in there. Let's go ahead and check for tenderness. I'm 99.9% sure these are just gonna be perfect right now. I've done this before, and it does take about this time. So let's take a look. Oh my, that looks really good. Let's just give this a little stir here. Oh, I can tell just by touch, those vegetables are perfectly tender. There's a potato. Yeah, that is exactly what you want. I don't like it mushy, I like it soft, where a fork will go in, but without resistance. You can cook it as long as you want, really, to get these even softer, but these are ready for me. So let's get a bowl dished up and have a taste. I want to sprinkle some freshly grated Parmesan on here. There is nothing left to do but taste this, so I'm going in here. Let's see. I'm just going to get some of the veggies, the broth, and everything first. This is going to be hot and good. Seriously. Just stop now. Stop watching the video, get the things you need for this, and make it. This is just so perfect for this time of year for winter. I mean, heck, I'd make it in summer, but when you're talking about something that you want to warm you up, to really make you feel invigorated, that just tastes great, this is it. Perfect veggies, perfect broth. I haven't even gotten to the meatballs yet. Let's try a meatball here. I'll cut a little piece. Now, you don't have to add meatballs, like I said. This could be a straight up vegetable minestrone soup, which is traditional. Other things people put in here very traditionally are pasta, rice, I wanted to go with a straight up vegetable one with the addition of the meatballs. So this is my version of this. You can make this any way you want to your own liking. Add that pasta. Doesn't really matter, but let's see how these meatballs taste. There are not a lot of soups that I just adore. I love clam chowder, and from my youth, minestrone, going to an Italian restaurant that had the best minestrone ever, I gotta say, this is probably the best soup that I make with the addition of these meatballs and all those great vegetables. Yeah, it's a winter soup, but I could eat this year round.